Friends, in today's story, we see that because of the spread of an unknown virus, all humans present on Earth die. But somehow, one man is still alive, who has been wandering around for the past 2 years, searching for another living human. Then one day, he meets a woman who tells him that only the two of them are left alive on Earth, and now both of them must produce children together to carry humanity forward. So the story begins, and we are told that due to an unknown virus, all humans on Earth died. But one man survived. His name is Philip. Poor Philip has been wandering alone for years, hoping to find another living human, but he finds no one. This makes him very depressed, and he returns to his hometown. On the way, he sees a signboard and writes on it that one human is still alive. Then he reaches his home and thinks, why should I live in this crappy house when there are huge mansions of rich people in my town? After that, he goes to live in the house of the richest man in town. He hangs paintings stolen from big museums, each worth billions of dollars. But even this doesn't satisfy Philip. So he brings an Egyptian mummy's coffin and also a dinosaur's head, which he decorates on his dining table. Before sleeping at night, he repeatedly asks God for forgiveness for masturbating, something he has been doing for the past 2 years. The next morning he goes to the toilet, but there's no water. So he brings many Bisleri water bottles to wash himself. After relieving himself, he feels hungry and goes to a supermarket. Instead of opening the door, he blows it up with a gun. Inside he takes a lot of food for himself. Then his eyes fall on dirty magazines kept there, which he stuffs into his trolley and leaves. At night, he opens a $0 wine bottle and thanks God. After that, he masturbates twice and quietly goes to sleep. The next day, Philip starts destroying expensive household items just to pass time. When even that doesn't satisfy him, he crashes an expensive Mustang into a cheap car and causes an explosion. How long could he keep passing time just masturbating? Days pass like this, and we see that Philip's house has turned into a junkyard. And anyway, why would he clean it? It wasn't really his house. He fills a rubber pool with alcohol and bathes in it and drinks it too. Suddenly, he feels a strong urge to poop. But his toilet is filled with junk, so he decides to make a new commode. He cuts a swimming pool plank in half and sits there to poop. After that, he goes to a bar and asks the toys kept there if they'd like to drink alcohol. When the toys don't respond, he drinks the entire bottle himself and passes out. After some time, when he regains consciousness, he takes a toy with him in his car and goes to a female mannequin and starts talking to it. He says he has been noticing her for a long time but never had the courage to express his feelings. He starts kissing the mannequin, but suddenly its hand breaks. Seeing this, Philip becomes sad. The next day, he goes to a hill and writes "Rip Philip" there. He sits in his car and drives at full speed to crash it off the hill. But just before killing himself, he sees something strange. He quickly stops the car and sees smoke rising from behind the hill, meaning another human might still be alive. He rushes toward the smoke. There he sees a campsite and a woman's bra hanging there. Seeing this, he gets happy and starts smelling the bra, then passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself lying in the lap of a beautiful woman who says she can't believe he found her, and she starts kissing him. But then his eyes open again and he sees an unattractive woman giving him CPR. He gets scared and backs away. He asks where the beautiful woman went. The woman, named Carol, says he fainted and peed in his underwear, so she was giving him CPR. Philip says he didn't pee, it was already wet. As he moves toward her, Carol gets scared and pulls out her gun. She tells him to put her bra down and asks if he is a good person. Philip says yes, and that she can trust him. She asks if he was the one who wrote on the signboard. He says yes, and explains how loneliness drove him to the edge of suicide. Feeling pity, Carol befriends him. They sit and drink coffee together. Philip looks unhappy because he always wanted a beautiful woman, but instead got this rusty junk. He takes Carol to his house. On the way, Carol tells him to stop at a stop sign. They carefully check both sides before crossing. At home, Philip shows her his toilet pool, garbage pool, and alcohol pool. Inside, Carol sees piles of dirty magazines and asks what they are. Philip says they are for his masturbation. Carol laughs and says she doesn't want to judge him, but he seems like a huge pervert. Philip feels hurt and drops her back where he found her. The next morning, he wakes up to see Carol cleaning his house. He tells her to inform him next time before cleaning. She gets angry and spreads the garbage again. When he tries to stop her, she says they need cleaners, so they go to the supermarket. Philip parks in a handicapped parking spot. Carol tells him to move the car. Philip gets angry and says there's no one else left in the world, so where would handicapped people come from? Carol insists, so Philip drives his car straight into the supermarket. At night, Philip goes to the bar and complains to his toy friends that he is no longer the last man on Earth. He thought he'd get a beautiful woman, but instead got rotten, bitter gourd Carol. The next morning, while gargling with beer, he sees Carol packing her stuff to move in next door. He asks why, out of such a big world, she chose the house next to his. She asks if he's scared she sees his dirty ex. Philip drops his underwear and says, "Look, what's left to see now?" Carol says they were chosen for a purpose: to continue the human population. Philip says he has no interest in spending a wedding night with her, even if she's the last woman on Earth. He goes and poops in his poop pool. Carol asks him to do it inside, but he says there's no water. Carol insists they must live like humans to give their children a better future. Philip angrily says he doesn't want children with her. Carol then eats a fresh tomato to tease him. Philip eats a 2-year-old canned tomato but doesn't enjoy it. At night, he sneaks into Carol's garden and eats all her tomatoes. The next morning, Carol asks if he enjoyed them. He denies it. She calls him a terrorist and limps away. Philip asks what happened to her leg. She says she got injured while pulling water from the ground. Feeling pity, Philip helps her bring water by connecting pipes. Carol is happy and invites him for dinner. During dinner, she says seeing his tool convinced her they were meant to repopulate Earth. Philip agrees reluctantly. Carol says she won't sleep with him unless he marries her. Philip laughs, but she says she's serious. She doesn't want the first child of Earth to be illegitimate. Philip argues that marriage has no meaning anymore, but Carol says traditions still matter. Wanting intimacy, Philip agrees to marry. He proposes on his knees and Carol accepts. But Philip isn't happy. He leaves dinner halfway. Carol follows him and says since the US president is dead, one of them must become president. Philip makes her president, but she refuses, so Philip becomes president. Carol goes shopping for wedding supplies while Philip enjoys his bachelor party, burning tissues. He arrives at the church in torn clothes. Carol has decorated everything beautifully. When it's time for rings, Philip forgets them. Carol gets angry and leaves. Philip follows her, breaks her door, and sees how beautifully she decorated her home for the wedding. Philip apologizes and says he forgot the rings. Carol forgives him. They go to a jewelry store, take many rings, and Philip marries her. That night, instead of intimacy, Carol talks all night. From the next day, she joins Philip in all the things he enjoys. He even introduces her to his ex-girlfriend Mannequin. While returning home, their car collides with a limousine. Philip checks and sees a beautiful woman named Melissa step out. Philip is stunned. Carol is also happy. Melissa says she came after reading the signboard and had been wandering for 2 weeks. Philip regrets marrying too soon. Carol tells Melissa they got married a week ago. Philip doesn't like this. At home, Melissa is amazed by the paintings. Carol warns her about Philip's poop pool. Carol invites Melissa for dinner and hugs her. Philip joins inappropriately. Philip shaves for Melissa. At dinner, he agrees with everything Melissa likes to impress her. Carol invites him for fun, but he refuses, claiming stomach pain. At night, Melissa comes to him. Philip follows her, but sees Carol on the toilet and gets scared. Next morning, Philip exercises to impress Melissa. He gifts her a car. Carol confronts him about it and complains her door is still broken. Carol shows Melissa her hand-drawn wedding photo. Melissa asks why they don't live together. Carol says Philip is dirty and she married him only to repopulate Earth. Melissa invites them for beer, but Philip comes alone and lies that Carol is sick. Melissa talks about her needs. She respects Philip's marriage. Philip wants to tell her he's unhappy, but instead decides to divorce Carol. Seeing Carol making a heart for their wedding photo, he feels pity and leaves quietly. Meanwhile, another car, an Audi, approaches. Another human is alive. That person sees Philip's signboard and heads toward the town. Who is this person? How many more humans are alive? And will Philip get to spend a wedding night with Melissa? We'll see all this in the next video. Thank you.